hope you're having a great day. So before I start this video, I just want to say I'm not attempting to shame anyone or to call out anyone if you do make one of these mistakes. I just want to educate you guys because I see a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people do make these mistakes at first. So if you do make one of these mistakes, the most important thing, of course, is that you just acknowledge your mistake, you learn from your mistake, and then you fix it as soon as possible. Like if your tank is too small, correct that error, and go out and buy a new tank tonight. Go on Amazon and order one now. They have plenty of great tanks on Amazon and Chewy.com and other websites. So let's jump right into today's video, and that is 5 mistakes that betta fish owners make. Number 1 mistake that I see, and these other 4 mistakes probably wouldn't happen if people did this number 1 mistake and corrected this, is people don't do research before getting their betta fish. Betta fish are kind of known as the fish that are super easy. They need a really tiny tank, they don't need a filter, they don't need a heater. None of that is true. They do need a smaller tank than most fish. They are low maintenance and they're pretty hardy pets. They're great pets overall, and I would definitely say they are a beginner pet, but they do not require the lack of care that most people think. Like a lot of pet store owners or a lot of pet store workers will tell you that they need these really tiny tanks and whatever. Like the tank that I have there on the left is a lot of times what you will see with betta tanks. On the right, there's my good example of a tank. But anyway, they're these little $2 or $3 fish, so you don't want to spend all this money getting a giant tank. But it's so important to do research before getting your betta fish, before getting any animal. You want to do your own research, go on a lot of reliable sources, read a book about these pets, because it's really important if you want them to live happy and healthy lives that they have the proper care. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the tank size, like I was kind of talking about before. Tank size is such a huge thing. I constantly see these betta fish in quarter-gallon and half-gallon tanks. And this hurts me so much because a single-gallon tank isn't even big enough for a betta fish. The absolute minimum size, and really, I'd say go bigger than this, but the minimum size is 2.5 gallons. And if you have a bigger betta fish, like a bigger male or something, you really want to have a 5-gallon. And ideally for any betta fish, you want to have a 5-gallon. I have a 3-gallon there, but this kind of relates to the filter too, which I'll talk about a little later. But I used to have a 1-gallon. I didn't put anything in it, but anyway, I used to have a 1-gallon with a filter, and that was one of my errors. I shouldn't have had a tank that small because you can't even put any kind of animal in a 1-gallon. I ended up not using it when I found that out. I returned it. But anyways, I tried using the filter. It was way too powerful. It took up like half the tank and it was awful. So 2.5 gallon tanks are really the minimum size that you can even have a filter in. And a filter is a necessity for any type of aquatic pet, really. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the tank size. Like I said, 2.5 gallon tanks to 5-gallon, preferably 5-gallon tanks, is really ideal. Please, if you have a smaller tank, consider getting a new tank. I know it might be a little bit of an investment, but you'll have that tank forever. The tank isn't going to go bad or anything. So if you want to get another smaller fish, go ahead, get a smaller fish in that kind of tank when your betta dies in the future. And if you do have a larger tank and have all the other proper materials, your betta's going to live a long and happy life, hopefully. So I definitely know that I've seen people that have had bettas in these tiny tanks that are awful. They don't live very long. My betta fish has been alive for, I've had her for 3 years now, I think. So tanks are super important. Filter is the next thing. Filters are absolute necessity. Partial water changes and filters are both necessities. Learn about the water cycle before you get any type of aquatic pet and the kind of ammonia and nitrate buildup. That's really too much to get into in this one video, but that's a super important part of having an aquatic pet, is understanding the water and tank cycle, because cycling the tank, all of that stuff, it takes time to understand and it's kind of complicated. So that's why you absolutely need to have a filter, and you also need to do partial water changes. It's not one or the other. You definitely need both. Then one of the last things is no heater. Bettas are tropical fish. They absolutely need a filter or a heater. They are from parts of the world like in Asia, that kind of area. They are used to temperatures around 72 to 78 degrees, up to 82 degrees, but that's really the ideal temperature. Again, a heater is a one-time cost. A filter, with the exception of the cartridge, is pretty much a one-time cost. The tank is a one-time cost. All these are one-time costs. So please, if expense is your worry, don't think about it that much, because it's for a living being. It's for your living animal. And like I said, it's a one-time investment. You're not going to need to keep buying more and more filters, more and more heaters, all that. This tank that I'm showing here is horrible. Please don't have a tank like that. So then the final mistake I'm going to talk about is people that have the tiny tanks with dividers. These are so horrible because diseases can be transmitted. Bettas are pretty aggressive fish. They can't attack each other through, but they are jumpers. So I have heard stories about people that have had bettas that jump over the divider and end up severely maiming the other betta. So that's why these 2-in-1 tanks are really a horrible idea. They don't have enough room for any fish, a filter, anything. So yeah, they are not good ideas. So the reason that I included the last part is just because I see that really often, and a divider with bettas usually aren't great ideas, especially if you have much too small of a tank. So just make sure to have a proper tank size, heater, filter, no 2-in-1, and do your research. These are my top 5 mistakes betta fish owners make. If you're making these mistakes, please correct it. It will affect the well-being of your pet. Really, it will, and hopefully you want your fish to live a happy, healthy life, and the only way to do that is to have the proper needs that your fish has to have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions for what I should do for future videos, comment below. And I'm thinking about starting a Me the Animal Instagram page. If you like that idea, make sure to comment below. Again, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye!